on 95.3 FM in Windhoek, Desert Radio. The Bold Voice.
Now, we're going to get into a conversation with the Chief Executive Officer of the Namibia Water Corporation, that is Namwater, Abraham Nehemia, who is joining us now live on the line. Good morning, Abraham. How are you?
Very good morning. I'm doing fine.
How's the morning starting off?
Yeah, no, it's starting off very well. I'm happy to be invited to the Bold Voice to engage with the Namibian public.
Absolutely. Now, just to start us off, Abraham, for the benefit of our readers, listeners, and viewers, just quickly tell us, who is Abraham Nehemia personally and professionally?
Yeah, Abraham Nehemia is the son of the soil, born at Engela in the Hangwena region. I have attained a master's degree in water resource management and also other degrees with regard to certificates with regards to water management.
Mm-hmm.
I have been in the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform. It has been changing all the years, but I've been there since 1992.
Mm-hmm.
But then 3 years ago, I moved on to Namwater, where I am the Chief Executive Officer currently.
Okay, that is an extensive experience on, water and agriculture in this country. So I think that this next question should be pretty easy for you to answer. Just, give us a quick update on what our current water situation in Namibia looks like. And maybe just to make it easier, you can talk about it comparatively as well. Is the water situation getting better? Has it gotten better over the years? Is the rain making it better? We have more water, things like that.
Yeah, for the last 2 years, the water situation has been much better. But this is the characteristics of this country. You have years when you have quite a lot of rain and other years when you have serious drought. But also you also find that in this country you find one part is been flooded, and the other part is under drought during the same rain season. So that is Namibia, and for the last 2 years, I would say it has been better. We're able to have our dams relatively filled up, and also the water in other areas in terms of our secondary major source of water, which is groundwater. We also had quite good recharge in terms of the aquifers. So this year, then, to be specific, we have very good rains in the south. All the major dams, the Naute, the Hartap, the Nekata, they all have been full, and we had to release water. The central part of the country is still a bit not so good in terms of the rain that we received. Mm-hmm. The major dam for central areas, which is the Von Bach Dam, is still below 50%. So we hope that the remaining 2 months of the rain season will be able to allow us to get a bit more water in the dam. The Sokopor Dam as well is somehow full, but the Von Bach is where we have our concern. The Kobabe dams as well. We need some more rain there so that we can get sufficient water that we can comfortably say it will take us to the next rain season. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, the Rongo region, the western part, is also not having sufficient, although for the first time in about 20 years, we have water now in the Omdel Dam, the surface dam, not the aquifer. So the Omaruru River was able to run down to get to that dam. The Sokoport, the Sokopmund River, as we might have picked up, has also flown to the ocean in a number of years. The northern regions, we have late rains, but as we speak now, we have very good rains there. Almost all the oceans are full. The rainfall in the eastern Ohangwena, where we have our major aquifers, I think it's also properly recharged. There's been enough sufficient rains there. Northeast Kavango and Zambezi, as usual, it is raining well there. So this year looks quite better. Really, one could not complain. I think we have much more water. Only the central part that we need much more water for the capital city, and we all know how the demand is in Windhoek. So otherwise, we are going to be forced to bring in water from elsewhere, from the pumping from Sokopro down, and also from the groundwater resources in the north.
Now, the cost of water in Namibia, right, it's already considered high for the average citizen. And as you were saying, in the central parts, there might be difficulties and water might need to be brought in. So maybe if you can just talk us through, how the cost of water is determined, why is it that the cost of water is high, and maybe explain to us the relationship between, Namwater with the local authorities as well.
Yeah, the cost of water, relatively high. Maybe we should look at who is saying that and based on what. People will always say something's expensive. I don't think there's anything that is cheap on earth. Everybody will say something is very expensive. But I can tell you, I believe that at this stage, water in Namibia is not so expensive. If we look at what I have explained in terms of the water availability, where we get water from and all that, it's either we have to drill boreholes, sometimes to extensive depths, where you even drill water up to 400, 450 meters to get it out of the ground. In other areas, water has to be brought in from elsewhere. If we have to look at what water we are using in Windhoek, you should be able to know that either it's coming from the Devonbach, which is 60 kilometers away from Windhoek, and it's augmented by water coming from elsewhere in the north, from the Karst area, where we are pumping water from there, and we have to transport through the canals, which needs maintenance and all that. So the water cost is actually based on the input for you to get water to the tap.
Okay.
And that is, if you look at the actual cost of water in Namibia, if we had to charge full cost of that, it could very different. Water is definitely subsidized in Namibia. The Namwater tariffs are subsidized. The tariffs are approved by cabinet, and it is not always that we get the tariffs approved as we submit the recommendations. And there are even years when we put in that this is what the tariff should be based on the cost, but it can be decided, no, this year, no tariff increase at all. So that can tell you then that we have to subsidize water as we are supplying it. The aspect of the working together with the local authorities, yes, Namwater is a bulk water supplier. We should supply water to the local authorities, who then in turn should supply water to their residents through reticulation systems. Everything starts as well with the tariffs that I explained, that the tariffs are approved by cabinet, and then it's communicated through gazetting to the local authorities that this is what they need to, or they ought to pay Namwater. But of course, they also have to add a bit of markups to the water when they sell it to the local authorities, to their residents, because they also have to do some work within their town boundaries in terms of maintenance of their facilities there as well, and all that. So it also costs money. So that's the relations that we have, but it has not been so easy for all the local authorities, and that's why we have at this stage quite high level of debt that is owed to us by the local authorities. But we are working together to see how we have to look into this. We have been doing also a lot in terms of even writing off some of the debt, and also, like for the last 2 years, we have put a moratorium to the interest. The local authorities were not charged interest for 2 years, just to see how they could catch up with the outstanding debt. But it's a system that we are all working together.
Mm-hmm. Now, the northern regions have for decades faced recurrent challenges with water, which has caused their water being rationed sometimes. What is Namwater's plan in dealing with this?
Yeah, there are short-term and long-term plans with regards to this, because what is causing all these troubles in the north, to be honest, is the old infrastructure that we have in place. We have both the facilities at Kaluet in Angola, where we are pumping water from, whether it's in terms of the power systems there or the pumps. So what we are doing now is ready to revamp the whole system. With regards to the pumps, we have already worked together with our Angolan counterparts, and when we did the rehabilitation of the Kaluet dam, so we put up 2 big new pumps that are just dedicated to supply water to Namibia. So they are yet to be commissioned. Then coming from there, you then have the canal that is breaking day and night, not necessarily because it's old. In some instances, it's also the communities that are breaking the canal and moving the slabs and all that. So we have all those challenges. But we are revamping the whole canal from the Mahenene border post to Oshakati. So we already started the work between Mahenene and Olushanja, so the contractors are on site. And we will soon then proceed from Olushanja towards Otapi, and we carry on like that until we reach Oshakati. Oshakati is having the main treatment plant for the north central areas. All water is mostly treated there. But we also are starting to experience the shortage in terms of the capacity of that plant. So we have, as we speak, already appointed consultants who are going to work on the doubling of the capacity of Oshakati treatment plant. So we anticipate that the construction or the tendering work should start before the end of this calendar year, so that next year we start with the actual construction of a brand new treatment plant in Oshakati. And that will then alleviate the shortage of water. But you can then see the link between the plant and the canal, because the plant should be able to receive sufficient water. Therefore, the canal must also be revamped. So then we will have, in terms of the availability of water, will be something of the past. We are also working on the development of the Ohangwena 2 aquifer, so that we can link that aquifer in Ohangwena to the existing systems, so that one can have 2 sources of water. You can be pumping water from Angola, from Kaluet. You can also get water from the aquifer that you can put in the system to supply these northern regions. So we really have concrete plans as to what we are going to do in terms of dealing with this issue. But it has been a while that the infrastructure has been there for too long. And when you are really maintaining this infrastructure, say a pipeline, when you get a pipe break, when you remove that piece of pipe, the 6-meter piece of pipe which is broken, when you are removing it and you touch the next one, because it's also old, definitely you expect it in the next week or 2 weeks or whatever, the other one will also start to show problems or even just to break like the previous one as well.
Yeah.
So we need to revamp all these schemes. We are currently also looking into the replacement of the pipeline from Ondangwa to Onsia, because That is also where we have a serious challenge. The pipeline has become small. The population has grown tremendously, not only the people's population, but also the livestock and also the developmental initiatives in terms of businesses and all that. So the water demand for Oshikoto has grown up tremendously, and we need really to look into all these aspects.
Okay. And beyond just the infrastructure that you were just explaining now, no? Are there any other pressing issues that Namwater is faced with currently?
Yes, as I said, we have challenges like the aspects of the depth, the aspects of vandalism. Some of those things are really pulling us back. As we are trying to pull forward, these things are pulling us back. Because if you look at the cost that will be involved in doing all these plans that we have, we really need money. But if we have more than $1 billion lying in debt with our customers, how will we be able then to replace and to construct new infrastructure? And also, if people are vandalizing infrastructure, it's put up and it is vandalized. At the end of the day, it is not only Namwater as a company that will feel the pinch, but also the other users. Because you vandalize water at say, for instance, in the Omsati region, at the canal. It will affect somebody who is in Umsia or in Onambutu in Hangwena region. So the water then won't reach there, and the population has to suffer. But at the end of the day, Namwater is not doing their job, but it's also then the communities that are doing all these things.
Yeah.
We are also looking into developing new strategies. Currently, we have been working on our 5-year strategic plan, which we should have ready in the next 2 months or so for launching. And that has covered most of all the challenges that we have to look into how we look at all the aspects of stakeholder engagement, all aspects of infrastructure development, all aspects of ensuring that we have also the policies that are commensurate to the situation where we are now. Because there are also some of the issues with the legal aspects that are making life difficult for us to perform our duties. So it's a comprehensive strategic plan that will help us to see how we engage with the central government, to see how we address some of the policy issues and legal matters.
Yeah. Now, we're still talking to Namwater CEO Abraham Nehemia. And Abraham, just before we let you go, just on what you have just been talking about, let's just quickly address this. So in terms of the Namibian constitution, land, water, natural resources belong to the state. And the custody of these resources lies with the government, and the responsibilities for the overall management of the national water resources can't be divorced from the government. So do you think you're doing enough to make sure that every Namibian actually has access to potable water?
Yes, of course. If you look at the mandate with regards to water in this country, you have the aspect of the management of the resources.
Yes.
The management of the water resources lies with the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform. Anybody who wants to tap from any natural resource, which is a state resource, has to be given permits or permission from the ministry. Then you have Namwater, then who is responsible for the bulk water supply. So ours is to get a permit from the ministry if you want to tap water from Okavango to supply the towns in Okavango, or you have to get a permit if you have to take water from Omdel Dam or Kwiseb Omdel Reservoir or Kwiseb Reservoir to supply the coast. So everywhere we have to get permission from the ministry to supply water in bulk. Now, then there comes the aspect of rural water supply. which currently has been delegated to the regional councils from the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform. But if you go on the ground, especially in northern regions where the bulk lines have all the rural lines connected to the bulk lines.
Mm-hmm.
So it is the responsibility of Namwater to make sure that those rural lines have got water as well. So you cannot divorce the two, because I cannot just say I'm looking at my bulk lines to be full of water and it ends there.
Yeah.
So if there's no water at Uvuzia, or there's no water at Okankoro, Namwater should still run and make sure that is happening. So the aspect of ensuring that every Namibian has access to water, although ours is bulk, I think it's really a responsibility of Namwater to make sure that everybody has water, because others cannot get water unless we make water available. The local authorities cannot make sure that their people have water if we don't make water available to them. But then you get these things of ensuring then that water is paid for, because sometimes then you have local authorities that are put on prepaid systems, and if the local authorities have no money to buy water, then you find that people do not have water in that particular town.
Yeah.
But Namwater reservoirs are full, but people have no water. Still, I can't sleep. When I'm reading this or I'm seeing this on TV, people have no water. It's really a pity, but that's what we are trying now to really work with the local authorities to try to make sure that let's adhere to the commitment that we have as a country, that everybody should have access to water at all times. These are administrative issues that we really should be able to address together as a country. And it's all stakeholders that are required, because sometimes we also look at the local authority and just check the economic conditions of that particular local authority, a village or whatever. Look at their source of income. Most of them, they use water as a source of income, because they have to pay salaries, they have to clean streets, but there's no other activities that are happening there. So we need to look into a holistic development of these local authorities, because if one local authority is not developing and has got these problems, at the end of the day, is the country that is not developing. So all stakeholders should work together, even the media, to help make sure that we get the relevant education and information to the public, so that we are all pulling in the same direction.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Abraham, for joining us this morning, just to give us a little bit of insight as to what's going on with our natural water resource currently, as well as the position of Namwater and how things are faring there. We really appreciate it.
You're always welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. That was Abraham Nehemia, the CEO of the Namibia Water Corporation, just talking to us a little bit this morning about Namibia's water resources, as well as the situation of Namwater. Now, you are still tuned into Breakfast in the Desert. The time is 7:57. So we're just going to get into a little bit of music as you get ready to make your way to work, to the office, wherever it is that you're finding yourself, and then we'll come in with your sport just after this. Here's Sally Boss Madame with Natural.